Hello and welcome to the Champ We Are United podcast, the football comic podcast, the number one football comic podcast.
Yes.
Yes, welcome. My name is Matt Mute Button Richards. I'm your host for this show, and I'm joined in the studio by two of my esteemed colleagues. The first one I'll introduce you is so he's the known as the tangential one because he uses 1,000 words when one would suffice. He's here now. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Well, with that, I suppose I should talk for the next 15 minutes, really, wouldn't I? But yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. And looking forward I look forward to all the pods, but this is another one that I think fits into the special category and a little bit different as well. So really intrigued and looking forward to tonight's edition.
Good. Yeah, and you used the word special already. Yeah, there'd be lots of use of the word special
Yes.
today. Yeah, excellent stuff. And also joined by it's actually our holiday special expert, really, because we've seen him and heard him take us through a few of these specials previously. So it's a welcome to Neil Bygone Berrigan. Hi, Neil.
Hey, okay. I'm pleased to be here tonight for this again, as echoing what Tangent's already said, the special show. I'm proud to be involved. Really looking forward to it.
Well, you're very welcome. So yeah, as Tangent has already said, this is a special show on specials. And not only that, but we're going to be joined by a very special guest, the one and only Barrie Tomlinson, who's been on here, great friend of the show. We're so fortunate to constantly have Barrie come back on the show. So he'll be joining us very shortly. He's not with us now. He's in makeup, um, which is a bit of a concern because the last time we saw him, he had a Santa
What?
Claus beard on for the Christmas episode.
Sorry, Matt. I was going to say, are we still trying to get the Santa beard removed from Barry? I know we went the extra mile that time. I didn't realize it was taking so long to remove it from his chin.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen him yet, but if he's not in sunglasses and a sombrero, I'm going to be gutted. So Barry will be joining us shortly. But first of all, what I'm going to do is, as per normal in a normal show, is I'm going to go through some of the social media feedback from the last show, which was 110, which we did on when B Dane started playing cricket, first in Tiger, and also Tangent. You took us through the We Are United story, week
Yep.
8.
Week 8, yeah.
And we did a collector's corner as well. And of course, Gull was with us for that. Gull can't make it today, but he'll be back. He'll be back at the next episode. And also, we've got some feedback from the previous show with Bill Graham and Martin Lindsay.
Yeah, of
So
course, because we shocked everybody the last one, didn't we? We was kind of
we
West
caught
morning and
we
under
caught
the
them on
north
the hop,
time.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
recorded it a week before publishing. Yeah, exactly. And we particularly shocked the Melvster. So here we go.
Yes.
So the first one here on this is Trevor Melvin on the show with Bill and Martin. So Graham and Lindsay rock the champs. Despite the pre-match rumour mill going into overdrive with talk of Melvin's musings being renamed nerdy shit, and that a future champ We Are United roadshow at Doc Cotton's in Barnsley could well be on the cards. Come
Yes.
kick-off time, the team's focus was firmly on the pod's legend slot. Yeah, we've got another legend slot today, haven't we? Yeah.
Yes, we
Which
have indeed.
featured Bill Graham and Martin Lindsay, the former DC Thompson hitmakers. The two Scottish comic book superstars who famously created classics like We Are United in Champ and Football Picture Story Monthly did not disappoint and completely rocked the mic. Adopting a total football interview approach, Mute Button Matt, Tangent Paul, Bygone Berrigan, and of course the Podfather probed the Lennon and McCartney of the comic book world relentlessly and discovered that prior to working together at DC Thompson, Bill was first introduced to Martin at a gig in Dundee, where he was playing drums in a band.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? The pair later became teammates at DC Thompson, and the rest, as they say, is comic book history. The chart-topping football stories just kept on coming for the dynamic Dundonian duo. Stark, the match winner for hire, and Klein and Powell et al. The Premier League picture story producers gave numerous exclusives during the 90 minutes plus, one of which involved the comic Scoop. It seems that Scoop was originally intended to be an all-football comic until an editorial tactical change beyond Graham and Lindsay's control sadly blew the full-time whistle on the idea. still think that would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Oh, I tell you, I mean, what they produced, I think, was fantastic. But yeah, I mean, consider mind blown if that had been a full football comic, to be quite honest.
Wow. Other highlights involve Goal recalling his United Mania moment, not dissimilar to a Beatlemania episode, and a tangential one candidly revealing that back in the day he staged a one-man Victor comic boycott.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant stuff. I just imagine you, standing with a placard outside.
Yeah,
Do not buy it.
the sad thing is, it never actually got to that, but I think we can all picture it, right?
Down with Alf Tupper.
Yeah.
All that stuff. The only flashpoint during the fixture came when Martin Lindsay, who was once head of licensing at DC Thompson, suggested that the lads from Champ Towers might be receiving a lawyer's cease and desist letter for calling the pod Champ We Are United.
Yeah,
Kerrang!
that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a great start to it, wasn't it? On song as always, lads. Rock on. So that's it from the Melster. Superb stuff. Thanks as ever, Trevor. John Evans, friend of the show. Everyone's friends of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
He said, I know the word has been used by others, but wow. Gave this a few listens, was captivated. Thank you all so much for continuing the pod. It makes this old nerd very happy.
That's great.
So,
that's music to my ears, that is.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. Thanks, John. And nothing from Mrs. Evans, our marketing manager.
I can only imagine what she's got to say on it. Get a life, you saddos.
I think she's trademarking the nerdy shit.
Yeah.
Richard Woods, great listen, guys. Hi, Richard. Another friend of the show, obviously, big friend of the show. Great listen, guys. Amazing work to get two such legends of the comic world on, and so great to hear all those memories. I'll go back to my go. Thanks, Rich. Really glad you enjoyed it, mate. And he actually says, tempted to say there were 6 legends. Ooh. Wow. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Rich. We'll take that. Thanks for the compliment. Cheers. Yeah. And then we have from Lee Coulson, Aussie Lee.
Hey, Aussie Lee.
He said, this was a fascinating and insightful interview of Martin and Bill covering the creative and business processes that went into launching and maintaining a successful comic. Champ We Are United was not a publication I ever saw already in Australia, but it was clearly a groundbreaking comic, and it's great to see the guys talking and sharing their memories of days working on it together. I hope they have some understanding now of the impact their comics had on you all and a generation. Kudos to the team for getting more great guests on and growing the podcast even more. Brilliant words. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I don't know, on the YouTube channel, if you can see my head is just slightly getting bigger and bigger and bigger as this feedback comes in.
I know. It's great. Keep it coming. Cheers. And now some feedback from last show, which was, I say, on episode 110, Billy's Cricket Boots and We Are United Week 8. Dave Jones says, this is on the Roy the Rovers comic 40 years on Facebook site. Dave Jones says, I was in my comic reading prime when Billy Dane started playing cricket. It was amazing he found a pair of Deadshot Keen's old boots. I recall him being a good pace bowler for Groundwood, Jimmy Dawson a good bat, Reg Wood wicketkeeper, and Ronnie Ramsbottom the spinner. First game they beat Posh Morton School against the odds. And and actually Barry's gone back to him on Facebook, Barrie Tomlinson, and says, great memories. I was a cricket fan myself, which is why I decided Billy should play cricket. Yeah. I checked with Billy's gran first.
I love Barry. He's always checking with the family members.
He is. As a good Edsel would.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. And Alex Moss comments on Dave Jones. And he says, and he still kept losing those bloody boots. So it doesn't matter which boots they are, he still loses them.
So, do you know what? Sorry, for a future pod, one day we're going to have to go through how many Tiger covers were there of a bus pulling away with Billy chasing after it in the road, going, I've left my boots.
Or floating down a later stream.
Well, there's more of that to come, actually. I think we've got Billy's boot story coming up later on in the episode. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
It's a new way of losing him, shall we say. Ian Golden, friend of the show. Actually, Ian's due to come on a show pretty soon, actually, probably next show. He says George Wiley is definitely Adam Biley. He was a prolific goal scorer at the time with Portsmouth, with one of the best mullets in the league. And he posted a picture of Adam Biley.
Brilliant.
Yeah, when he's going back to the champ. Yeah.
Sorry, just
Um,
because obviously, Simo on his sabbatical a little bit. But if you remember, the penalty taker as well was obviously Frank Shannon, and he didn't
mm,
mention it at the time. So it
brilliant.
was Portsfield, a real Portsmouth Southampton amalgamation, right? And Alan Bailey did play for Portsmouth, so
Yeah, of course he did.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So Frank Shannon, yeah.
yeah,
Worthington, Mick
yeah,
Shannon, yeah. Adrian Lord, you from the House of Lord,
yeah.
says, great podcast as always. I even enjoyed the Billy Boots cricket story. Laugh, laugh. Nice to see Dot Cotton's back in full voice too. There you go. Dot's not here. Sorry, Adrian. She's also away with, I think she's got another shift at the laundrette. So she
Yeah.
couldn't get away from it today. And George Prince, US friend of the show, said, great episode. Always puts a smile on my face. Don't get involved with a football comic podcast at all. I'm struggling to. I'm resisting buying new comics. I've never really took an interest in before I started listening to you guys. It's like like you, Paul. He's and well, it's like all of us really. It's meant that he's having to spend a lot more on comics.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
is a bad, it can be a bad thing.
but it's fine. It's a good struggle. Well done, guys. So yeah, so that's all the feedback. So thank you
That's
very much.
brilliant.
That
Thank you.
finishes all the feedback from show 109. It's the feedback from the last show as well. I've sent all the feedback off to Bill and Martin as well,
Oh,
so
fantastic.
so they can see. They really enjoy coming on the show. So who knows? Maybe in the future that they may come back on again. So
Would be brilliant. We obviously we live in hope that happens. But yeah, even if it's not to happen, we managed to get them on once, right? So
yeah,
it was
which
great.
which
But
was
hopefully it will happen again.
yeah, which was a great coup. So that's it. So I think now it's time to get Barry out of the makeup room, and
The
then
Christmas hat and
Chris,
beard.
and then let's move on to the next part of the show. So over to Barry, and we're back, and it gives me great pleasure, and once again, it's a privilege to introduce to the show and to our listeners and to our viewers actually the great Barrie Tomlinson. Hi, Barry. How are you?
Greetings. It's nice to talk to someone,
Even us.
even you.
Well, it's great to see you looking so well. And you got rid of the beard then, so you must have the Santa beard. You must have got a razor for Christmas.
Yes, I found a shaver and did a quick shave just before the podcast started.
It's nice. It's nice to see that people make an effort. Paul, do you want to take note next time, will you?
I wouldn't mind. This is me. I've made a special effort to. I actually also had a shave just for Barry to come on, and you've still got dug out for it.
Oh, sorry.
Perhaps we can get that sponsored by a well-known shaving
Shaving
company.
company.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we are available for sponsorship if anybody's interested.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
any razor company's fine. You know,
Yeah.
we're not fussy.
Well,
Matt Combs on.
I've used a filler shave since 1957. Not the same one, various models.
Yeah.
Okay, but like Trigger's broom.
Right,
Excellent.
exactly.
Good stuff there.
And there is other popular shaving products out there.
Excellent stuff. So we're here to talk about, as we've said at the introduction, we're here to talk about holiday specials. I mean, it is summertime. The kids are broken up, so it's probably a good time to kind of talk about holiday specials and summer specials. So we've got a few we're going to go through. We won't tell you what they are yet, but there's a few of the old ones which Barry would have been editing back in the day. But before we kind of go into that, well, Barry, do you want to tell us about holiday specials and how perhaps they fitted into the production line on a year by year? Basically, clearly you did annuals as well and the weekly comic, but yeah, how are specials different, I suppose?
It was a nice change to do a special because you're doing the weekly 52 weeks a year. So into a special, you can do more features and try out new artists and new writers if necessary. So it was a break from the routine, and they didn't go to press too early, whereas the annuals went to press August, September time, ready for Christmas. The specials only went about 6 weeks before.
Oh, right. So it fitted into the kind of normal production line of the weekly comic, really.
Yes,
And you aim for that. I know I said about the school holidays. That's the date you kind of aim for.
yes, get them on sale for the summer. When I mentioned I was going to appear on this podcast, I've had so many people talking to me on X about what the specials meant to them. And so many people went on holiday, and part of the holiday was buying the special.
I
So
can
that's
agree with that
it's
myself.
really nice to know the impact they made upon people.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think for myself personally, I still feel that the same buzz when I see them in my collection. I feel in a holiday mood when I'm reading them. I do.
I was going to wear a swimsuit today, but decided against it.
For people that aren't watching on YouTube, I can confirm Barry has got clothes on.
Do you know, Matt, you shouldn't have done that, because trust me, all those people that just listen to the podcast, they'd have all been jumping onto YouTube immediately, and our figures would have spiked then.
Yeah, no, it really was. It's like it was obviously a bumper edition of the comic, wasn't it? Like double, almost. It was about double the size, wasn't it? I think about 60 odd pages, weren't they? Typically, that's what
Yeah,
that's what they tended to
fair
be.
size, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember seeing a couple of them. Yeah, and just kind of see them, and it's got a different type of cover. And yeah,
64.
64, yeah, typically, and yeah, and Barry, we've all said, because we've recently, Neil's been kind of talking about different stories and different specials, and we've all been saying that many a time it actually genuinely was a case. You know, you're actually on holiday and you go into a newsagent's and you'd find it there, or you'd have one before you went on holiday and you'd save it for when you got on holiday. You know, it does bring back some fantastic memories.
Sorry, save an edition of Royal Roads. You got to be
Sorry.
crazy. I treated them all like Christmas presents. I couldn't wait to open them first straight away. Saved an edition. God, you guys had patience.
So when in preparation for the show, I was looking back actually to see when specials started to come out, and it seems actually, even though annuals were clearly coming out for years before, like in the 40s and 50s for comics and comic papers, it seems like it only really started in the 60s, Barry. And I suppose that was when your IPC, you started in early 60s. So do you remember specials coming along? I think they've got us like mid 60s, mid to late 60s, really.
Yes, I mean, I joined in 61. So it was a couple of years after I joined that they first started appearing. And I suppose that first reaction was, oh, we've got extra work to do. And there used to be a separate department that did the annuals, but that closed down and the annuals reverted to the editorial teams. So we had a lot of extra work going on. I was trying to remember whether we got paid extra for doing these, and I can't remember.
Well, that was my next question. Right. Well, if David Skew was on here, he would know the answer.
Well, the contributors got paid, editorial staff.
Oh, I see. With the editorial stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because you were salaried, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't remember if we did or not.
Well, I would hope so, but there's no guarantees, is there? No.
No, it's a bit too late to take a grievance, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
I was going to say, knowing the corporate world as I do, it wouldn't shock me if it wasn't, though, would it? No, that's just part of your normal job.
Do it on the side of your desk.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So can you remember? So we're gonna start going through some of the specials, and we're going to start with a particularly special. If somebody, so if anyone gets fed up with me saying the word special. I should apologise now. Any kind of spring to mind, Barry, of the specials?
Well, the one that was slightly unusual was the Tiger Olympic special.
Yeah. Sorry.
I put forward the idea that with the Olympics coming up, we should do something special for that.
We've got now, for all of you on YouTube, the cover of that Tiger Olympic special that Barry was talking about.
Yes, when I suggested it, I didn't realise it would be so much work. It's probably the most comprehensive Olympic publication there's ever been, because it shows all the results from the previous Olympics in great detail.
Wow.
And it lists every single event in the Montreal Olympics.
Wow.
And in those days, of course, it was before computers, so everything had to be typed out and double checked. The Olympics were being held in Montreal, and
Yeah.
I made some phone calls to there and spoke to some very nice people in their press office, and they provided me with lots of information, all of which, of course, had to be retyped.
Hmm.
They gave me all the logos as a different logo for each event. So we were able to produce something which looked really professional.
Hmm.
There's a cover picture I'm looking at on the screen now, which shows Brendan Foster
Yeah.
celebrating finishing a race. Then that picture was out of focus, and I had to decide whether to go ahead with that picture slightly out of focus, because the pose was absolutely right.
Hmm.
So in the end, I decided to go with it, even though it was slightly soft.
Oh, right. It's brilliant. It's a
That's
great
interesting.
photo. Yeah.
I
It's a
think the whole
great
cover's
cover.
great, though, isn't it? The master.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd capture your eyes, wouldn't it, if it was sat on a shelf in a newsagent's? You know, it's so bright and colourful.
Yes, it's a good cover, I think.
Yeah.
I
And
must admit, I'm intrigued by that though, Barry. You saying about that, until you mentioned it, I would never have really kind of got that out of focus image. I mean, because it's just so quite clearly that it's Brendan Foster, an iconic name and star of that era. And then, as you say, the rest of the cover. So there's so much going on. It just, yeah, I think it works really well. I hadn't even realised until you said.
Yes, I didn't think it needed any background at all because there were so many words to get on the cover to explain what it was all about.
I have got some other pages, so I'll flick through, and so viewers on YouTube can kind of see some of the pages.
bargain 30p as well.
Yeah, I know, and it's an amazing because I have got this, and I mean it's as you say the detail is fantastic, and it's so many pages there. We can see over 57 pages. You
And
know,
I put my name on it as well.
you
Yeah,
did,
look
didn't
at
you? Look
that.
at that! Look at that! So
Yeah.
we've flicked over to pages 2 and 3. So I read out what you wrote, Barry.
Feel free.
Okay, so
I'll charge you.
oh, so okay, so you didn't get paid for it back in the day, but you're making sure you get paid for it now.
Now's the time.
Okay,
All
so
comes to he who waits.
exactly. So for many months, the world's greatest sportsmen and sportswomen have been in strict training with one aim in mind: victory at the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal. For those who triumph in Canada, there will be fame and perhaps fortune. Those who claim the gold medals will become household names as their victories are beamed around the world onto millions of television screens in dozens of countries. British competitors are better prepared than ever before, and although the standards are higher than ever, there are many who stand a chance of winning the medal in Montreal. In this Olympic special, we have tried to convey not only the facts and figures behind the Olympics, but also something of the drama and endeavour that goes into Olympic competition. You will find all the results from the Munich Olympics and a 6-page chart to enable you to keep a complete check on all the results as they happen in Montreal. This special goes to press some weeks before the publication date, so certain facts may have changed by the time it's on sale. Good luck to every competitor. Let us hope that a feast of sport in the true Olympic tradition. Let the winners be good winners and the losers be good losers. Let sport make the headlines throughout the period of the Games. Let the 21st Olympiad be an Olympiad to remember for the best of sporting reasons. Barrie Tomlinson, editor. Great words, Barry. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's £150 for quoting those.
I'm editing that out. Blimey, O'Reilly. How much do you think we make of this podcast?
I was going to say, if we made that kind of money, we'd be only too happy. It'd be cheap at half the price. So
Well,
unfortunately,
I would have cut out half the words if it was going to be 150 quid. But brilliant. You know, it's great. That's a great introduction by your good self. And yeah, you've got the contents there. So you've got Olympic story, and I'll flick to that in a minute. There's an Olympics preview, dates of the events, as you said, the results from the 1972 Olympics, battle for medals, all sports preview, Golden Great Britain. So I haven't got all the pictures from the special, but there are loads of fantastic colour pictures of British athletes. And there's previews on different sports: judo, boxing, swimming, equestrian, and then yes, a chart to put all the results on, like we would for the good old FA Cup final charts and season reviews and stuff like that. Oh, a report on the Winter Olympics, and then there's some more pictures. So let's flick through the rest. So this Barry, this really stood out to me. This is a kind of first feature on there, and it's the Olympic story, and it's by Reg Clark. You've mentioned him before.
This was a great moment for me because I was able to give Reg a credit. When he worked for Fleetway, he was a sports editor, but not his title wasn't sports editor. He was a sportsman, and his name never appeared anywhere. He wrote under the name Skipper.
That's right,
in Tiger.
Yeah.
So this was a chance for me to give him a credit. It was just about the time he retired. And I thought it was nice that we can actually put his name in print for the first time.
Yeah.
Who's the artist on there? I can't read
R.
Payne.
Payne on the bottom left, it says there. R. Payne,
Oh.
Payne.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, good spot. That's a good spot, Tangent. Yeah. R. Payne. Well,
Did you know who that is, Barry?
No.
R. Payne. That's Bob Payne, Robert Payne. I don't know. We'll check it out. I'm sure one of the listeners or
I know
viewers will have
that
heard of him.
the artist worked for Temple Art Agency,
Ah,
and we commissioned it through the agency.
Right.
okay. Well, we'll do some research on that. But yes, a fantastic piece of artwork as well. It's athletes from back in time, the dawn of the Greek Olympics up to present day, isn't it? Like 1972.
Yeah.
Yes, a nice piece of artwork.
Yeah. But yeah, as you say, fantastic to give Reg a credit as well. That's well done, Barry. Yeah, we've got a couple of pictures here. As we move on over the page, we've got the famous Jeff Capes, who was a massive sports star in the 70s and 80s, wasn't he? Quite literally, no pun intended. So he was going to be one of our athletes. And then Donna Murray, who I think she became Donna Hartley, I think later on as well. She was one of the top British athletes as well.
We were very lucky that we had access to so many good colour photographs. Agencies would come into my office weekly to show their latest photographs, and I would take anything I thought we might be able to use. And when I told them we were doing the Olympic special, then they brought in lots of Olympic stars. So we had agencies like the Press Association, Sporting Pictures, London Photo Agency, and quite a few more that would be regular visitors. In fact, when I first met Suzanne Dando, she was representing one of the photo agencies.
Yeah, you
that's right. Yeah. That's right. I've read that. Yeah, interesting. Then we flick the page and we've got a bit of an Olympic preview by Neil Wilson. Was he a member of staff, Barry? I don't recognise the name Neil Wilson. Maybe
no. I wanted to use well-known writers of sporting events in the publication. So I looked at all the national newspapers and picked people out who were household names in those days and were experts on particular sports.
Oh, okay.
So Neil Wilson was one of those. So we certainly had a all-star lineup of contributors.
And then we've got a kind of diary of events so people can see what dates the different events are on. Then we've got the 19. And I've just got one page here on the screen, but there's quite a few pages of all the results. So it's just like, I mean, it's amazing. Like you say, we take this for granted nowadays because it's the sort of thing you can just ping over an email or something, or you look it up on the website. But back in 1976, as you say, you'd be on the phone just writing this stuff down.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, it all had to be drawn out by hand, so no computers involved.
Wow, amazing.
So there is a lot of work in this sort of publication.
Yeah.
I mean, all those results there had to be checked a couple of times to make sure they're right.
Brilliant stuff. And then we've got the battle for medals, which is down the side where you can put in your country, all the countries, and add in if we've got gold, silver, or bronze. You know,
Do you know what?
no problem.
I've never seen anything like that. I just don't. I mean, amazement at that. That's the kind of thing that I wasn't aware of this at the time. Maybe a bit would have been a little bit young at the Montreal for the
Mm.
Montreal Games, but I think the first Olympics that I really remember is the 1980 Los Angeles. I mean, this would have just if I'd have seen a grid like this, crikey, I'd have been sat in front of that TV set on every medal
Eight,
ceremony. You know,
yeah, I know. Me too. 80 was Moscow, but yeah,
sorry,
wasn't it?
Moscow,
80,
yes,
yeah,
and
okay,
Los
yeah.
Angeles was 84, wasn't it? Apologies,
84.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same, Paul. So I was a bit too young for this as well.
Mm,
I can vaguely remember the
mm.
Olympics then, but I would have been like 6. But yeah, the detail is just fantastic, Barry. It's a superb publication.
Yes,
That's
I
a really
mean, grown-ups could buy it as well.
Yeah.
yes, that's what I was thinking. It really was,
Well,
wasn't it? Yeah.
I was going to say actually. I mean, obviously, this is the first I've seen this. I mean, Matt mentioned that he'd spoken to you, Barry. But I was just wondering, actually, a little question for you then. Kind of what was your market? Because in all honesty, as you say, as a kid, I would have lapped it up, but it almost feels much more sort of adult than the normal kind of holiday and Tiger comics. Or was it just an open market for anybody with that interest?
Yes, I mean, when they decided to call it Tiger Olympic Special, I think they expected something perhaps a bit younger.
Mm.
But the more we worked upon it, the more complicated it became.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, you've always said, Barry, that Tiger was very much a parent buy anyway, wasn't it? Because you would have had, fathers, typically fathers, I know it could be mothers as well and other family members, but buying it for their children who maybe would have had it, say, 20 years previously. So, you're kind of appealing to two audiences there, aren't you, really?
Yes, I mean, people could watch the events on television and have
Help
this
their
alongside
child
them. Yeah,
put it in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you remember if it sold well? Can you remember at the time?
no, can't remember.
That's all right. Sorry. Another stupid question by me. So move on. Um, um, okay, no, just looking at Britain, we found it's interesting
Yeah, I
actually.
was just
Or,
noticed
yeah,
that. Yeah.
you're going to say that. Yeah, we finished. We're
I
12th
should
in the table.
I should have answered and said, yes, it sold brilliantly. It sold millions.
I'm sure it did, Barry. I mean, once people realised that you actually signed that editorial, I mean, it would have increased in size exponentially, surely.
Yes, it must have done well. I think it deserved to.
It certainly did. Certainly did. So Britain finished 12th in the table, which is interesting. Where do we finish now? Second or third, don't we? We're
Yeah,
usually in
we've
top
been
3, aren't
in
we?
the top. Yeah, we've done amazing, and I mean, amazing to see that there as well. Though, just 4 gold medals, 5 silvers, and nine bronze medals. I mean, in recent years, I know the lottery money, but what I also find, and we've got to be very careful here, but looking, you've got East Germany, West
Yeah,
Germany,
I know.
Yugoslavia on there, Czech, they're, countries now that have either
Don't exist.
don't exist or amalgamated or split up. And I think we should probably leave it there because it's about the holiday special and not politics.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. But you're right. It is very much a sign of the times, isn't it? And yeah, you've got a final medals table there as well. So you could have completed all on the previous pages, and then you can
Yeah,
go
you could
and go
actually
back,
fill out
it's nice. Yeah.
An updated one there.
yeah, that's brilliant. I loved actually all of those things, I mean, because it's the first time I'm saying this, just really reminds me like I used to get my Roy the Rovers performance chart at the start of every season,
And then finally, because the Winter Olympics were held in the winter. There you go. That's showing off my sporting
Yeah,
knowledge there.
yeah.
You can tell I've done my prep work. And so we've got a picture here of John
John
Curry.
Curry, yeah.
Yeah, who famously won the gold medal in the Winter Olympics.
It was hot stuff.
Mm.
Very good, very good. I'll let you have that one, Barry. I won't
Thank
edit
you.
that one out. As long as you can do something about the 150 quid. But yeah, no, it's a great picture here. Doing what's he doing there, Neil? What's that particular ice skate? You're an ice skating
It's
expert,
a
aren't you?
twirl. Right.
Well, it's like good.
That's what
Must
we
have
call
thrown
in
that one over
Salford
to you.
when
Well
whenever
handled.
I've been ice skating.
Well
I really
handled.
thought the bygone would have gone for, like, wow, it was obviously the first triple Salco seen in an Olympic Games or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always
You're
made.
speaking to someone who ice skates on his knees and hands.
Well, it was actually, in all fairness, again, that's quite an iconic moment if you think about it, because John Curry was the leader. I mean, and obviously things have tailed off, although I believe we've now got a new dance couple. But Robin Cousins came in afterwards, and then Jane Torval and Christopher Dean. So that was the start of actually the Britain having a little golden period in figure skating and
Yes,
ice
he
dance
led the
skating.
way.
Yeah.
He definitely did. Yeah. Welcome to the Champ We Are United podcast, the number one comic ice skating
Figure
podcast.
skating.
Yeah. Good knowledge there, Paul. I was going impressed with that. I always used to wonder a triple Salco. What is a Salco? What is a single Salco?
Do you know what? And this is really. I
Sorry,
was listening
going
to a
off a
different
tangent.
podcast, which was a football podcast, and somehow this got brought up, and they mentioned how it's spelt, and everybody was flabbergasted by how it's spelt. But I can't even tell you now how it's spelt or any more information. I just was hoping that if I dropped that, we'd all just move on, and I'd sound really knowledgeable.
Okay. Well,
I think what's great about this, because this is the first time I've seen it, and I think it's what's great about Olympics in general. They just open you up to other sports that you would never have watched. Like I played judo when I was younger, but a lot of people, the only time they see judo is in the Olympics, and now it's like you've got it as one of the previews in this book, which I think that I love. I would never sit down and watch anybody like do archery, but when the Olympics is on, I sit down and make time to watch, the archery, the events where they're on the water. And I think this up to now, the magazine, this special shows that, it's just piquing your interest. I would never have known what a triple Salco was if you asked me what sport does that feature in. But I don't know. But yeah, it's
you
great.
do now.
I do now.
So
Yeah.
brilliant stuff, Barry. Thank you for drawing that to our attention.
Yeah, that was something a bit different.
It was definitely something a bit different.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to keep an eye out for that appearing on any sites. I'd like to have a copy of that. It's lovely.
So what we're going to do, we're going to move on from the 1976 Olympic special, and we're going to go now to the next special. So let's share my screen.
Just one quick question, Barry, and I appreciate. I think you're probably going to say you don't remember, or maybe was it because it's so much work? But was there anything ever mentioned again to try and replicate that for the next Olympics, or or was that just ended up just being a one-off? Can you remember why that might have been? Or
Yes, it was a one-off. It must have been discussed, but I can't remember anything about subsequent Olympics, whether it was ever suggested.
Yeah. Possibly, as you said, though, I can imagine a massive undertaking of work. So I can imagine a bit of relief. Oh, we're not going to do that again.
Well, what I would say just in there was that there was obviously the 1980 Olympics. There was, the US.
It became a bit
because
controversial
of Russia. Yeah. It's not straight into politics, but obviously because of Afghanistan and blah blah blah. So maybe, Barry, you may have discussed it, but you might not even thought it was going to go ahead. Who knows?
Well, just on that matter as well, there was talk, although in the end the politicians in this country left it to the athletes.
Right.
So it wasn't an official, like the Americans didn't send anybody, but again we kind of didn't necessarily send a team as we would normally. It was time to move on because there's all politics there.
Another publication that I did, it wasn't really a holiday special, but it was very similar. It was a publication called Phil Edmonds' Spotlight on Sport.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Phil Edmonds was an England spin bowler.
Yeah.
And I went to a test match at Lord's and afterwards went to the hotel where the team was staying to meet up with Geoffrey Boycott. And while I was sitting in the foyer, Phil Edmonds went past. And I'd met him previously, so I said hello to him. He said, "You're just the man I want to see. It's my benefit year. I want to produce a magazine for my benefit year. Will you be the editor of it?"
Wow. Brilliant.
So I said, yes, I would. He would get all the contributors, big sporting names, to contribute to it. and he was going to sell the advertising, which he sold very well indeed. He said, "Is there any way we can get a big circulation so I can sell more advertising?" And out of the blue, I suddenly thought, well, we could give it away free in the comics.
Right.
If every comic in my group and every comic in the humour group gave it away as a free gift.
Yeah.
And I'm
then it
just
would,
saying, because I've got a copy of it. Can you see it, Barry? I've got a copy of it on the screen. I managed to
oh,
obtain a
yes,
copy of it.
there it is.
So here it is. Yeah, absolutely. Go on, carry on. I'm just I'm showing people. If you're listening to this, then have a look on YouTube. I'm showing up a copy of it, which I managed to obtain just a couple of weeks ago, of the Phil Edmonds Spotlight on Sport.
Brilliant.
So by giving it away free, that it got 1 million circulation, and
Wow.
sold
Really?
the advertising for more money, obviously, and got more adverts into it.
Yeah.
He was obviously a very good salesman because it was packed with adverts. So we gave that away free in all the comics.
Brilliant.
It didn't really suit 2000 AD, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's got loads of adverts. The adverts in it, it's just, hey, he must have been brilliant at doing it, because you've got Rumbelows. This is a flashback, I tell you. Got Rumbelows, Atari, Mr. Wimpy. This is definitely a flashback to the 70s and 80s. Rally bikes. Yeah, nice. Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah.
So that was quite successful. Just as a sort of add on to that story. Later on, I was working on Suzanne Dandow Annual. She was appearing in pantomime in Plymouth. So I went down there to do a feature. And while I was away a couple of days, Phil Edmonds was interviewed about the publication Spotlight on Sport. And he said, "Oh, yes, we're going to do another one and give it away free with the comics." And I didn't know about this. I'm happily down in Plymouth, taking photographs and being very jolly. When I got back to my hotel very late at night, there was a message from my managing director saying, "How dare you authorise Phil Edmonds to say there would be a second one? We haven't authorised it. And what are you doing in Plymouth anyway?" So I got into big trouble for that. Another little spin-off from that. When I was down in Plymouth, obviously I met Suzanne, and Tom O'Connor was appearing in it, in the pantomime, and a few other stars. Met those, and met Kathy Taylor, who was a friend of Suzanne Dandow. She was represented by the same agent. She was a British pentathlon champion. And we were all sitting talking, and conversation, there was a love in the conversation. And suddenly Kathy Taylor brought up Billy's Boots. Do you know a story called Billy's Boots? I said, "Well, yes, I do." And it turned out that her brother bought the comic, and she read it, and she was an absolutely devoted fan of Billy's Boots.
Brilliant.
So from that moment on, we did a lot of features with Kathy Taylor, and that worked out very well. So
I think Billy's Boots, they released a couple of specials for Billy's Boots. Yeah, and I'm sure she's got a forward in one of them.
I'm showing on the screen here. I've actually got you're absolutely right, Bygone. Yeah, this is the Best of Billy Boots holiday special.
Yeah, and she's inside the cover, I think.
An intro by Kathy Taylor, and there she is. There next
introduction by my best friend. Brilliant. Billy Dane himself.
Next to Billy Dane.
Yeah, she became a very popular TV presenter.
Yeah.
Was she on TVM?
I was going to say, I must admit, I kind of do have a vague recollection, but when you said the name Barry, I mean, I must admit, I kind of remember her more for her TV presenting later on.
Yeah, she was on TVAM.
Yeah. Brilliant. I've got that edition as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know we weren't going to cover this, but what is great, the people who haven't got it, is it's got a great section on Billy's Boots inside, and it's actually got sections on Billy's team. So it's got the author Fred Baker, and
Oh,
it's actually got a
right.
picture of John Gillett
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
with doing some of his
Mm.
artwork.
I do love it when they're holding their own artwork. It's that
Yeah.
connection, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
John
Did
Gillett,
did Billy have a
lovely
pair of
man.
special running boots?
John Gillett was a lovely man. He was the perfect gentleman.
Ah,
yeah.
Mm.
He worked for years with you, didn't he? Didn't he, Barry?
Yes, yeah, I was a very good friend of his.
Yeah, yeah.
great
Sadly,
artist.
yeah,
It's-
brilliant. One of the best. Yeah, sadly no longer with us.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, so this is it. This shows you, doesn't it, about opportunities, just kind of bumping into people and making the most of them, and how it helps
Yeah,
the
yeah,
publications.
it wasn't planned. It just happened. It was nice the way it developed.
Mm, mm.
Brilliant.
Right. Okay. So we're going to move ahead now and just share some bits of the next special. So can you see that there, guys? Can you see
Yep.
that
Yeah.
on the screen? So I'm just going to flick through a few pages of this one. So for people who can't see it, this is the 1979 Tiger Holiday Special. It's a picture of Johnny Cougar on the cover. Sandy James was the artist, wasn't he?
Yeah, Sandy James artwork,
Yeah.
yes.
And you used to write a bit for Johnny Cougar as well, didn't you?
Is what, sorry?
Didn't you used to write some of the stories for Johnny Cougar as well?
Yeah, I wrote, and Tom Tully started the Johnny Cougar story,
Yeah.
and I took over from him when he was overworked. So I did Johnny Cougar for many years.
Right. Okay.
And Sandy James is an underrated artist.
Mm.
He was the youngest artist that we were working with, a Scottish guy who liked a drink occasionally.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned that before.
Yes,
Yeah.
so, but he could produce anything, and his Johnny Cougars were very, very good.
Yeah. So I'll flick through this. So I won't go through everything. But here's the Johnny Cougar story. But what we see here is that we see At Home with Trevor Francis. So this was just after because in 1979, obviously, as any football fan knows, that was the year when he was transferred from Birmingham to Forest for £1 million. And we see a certain Barrie Tomlinson is there
Look at that.
with Trevor and his
I
wife.
tell you what, you're not just a legend, are you, Barry? It's a friend to all the stars as well, eh?
Yeah.
It was great, the number of people I met in my job, and the top names at that time. And meeting Trevor and his wife Helen was a lovely experience. They're great, made us very welcome.
Yeah,
And
I
we
think
got these exclusive pictures of the £1 million footballer.
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, you're signing it says that you're signing a new Tiger contract because also, of course, he wrote for Tiger, didn't he, for
Yes,
a number of
many
years.
years. And a very keen contributor. And it was good to know him. He was a nice guy, and his wife was lovely.
Yeah, sadly, obviously, no longer with us. But great pictures and a great feature.
I was just going, it's
It's
really
one
bad.
of them. It's one of them players who'd be suited to modern football now, I think, rather than
Yeah, true.
I think he'd be valued more now
Quite
than
classy,
then.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
quite classy.
Rolls Royce money for football.
I think if he did that sort of feature now, it would cost him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But this was all free.
Wow.
So did he actually write his feature for Tiger, or was it like a ghostwriter? Did he actually, like, I remember when you were saying Paul Daniels actually wrote his piece for the Christmas special that time. Did he put a lot of effort in, a lot of input into what the column that he wrote, or was it a ghostwriter?
Trevor put a lot into it. We
Right.
talked frequently on the phone what was going to go into the next one. Then he had someone who wrote it for him.
That's good to know, yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know if it's a sort of happy coincidence as well, but it's amazing to think. Sorry, just a reminder. Obviously, yeah, this is the 1979, but if you think we're recording this just before, the women's Euros final in 2025, my maths is so bad. But in actual fact, Arsenal have just signed the Canadian international, I believe she is, Olivia Smith from Liverpool. in the
Yeah.
first £1 million transfer in women's football as well.
Oh wow.
So just I think it's quite poignant that we're mentioning this at that time, and it just as I say, I think a couple of historical moments there.
Yes, obviously you planned it to work out like that.
Yeah. Oh, Matt's too modest, but trust me, the only planning that ever happens on this show is Matt.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because and then I flicked onto a couple more pages here, and you've got Trevor and his wife Helen in the garden, and they're saying where the couple had put in a lot of work, but unfortunately they planned to leave before the flowers bloomed. That kind of was insight into like kind of a footballer's life, really, because
Yeah.
you're in one place and then suddenly you put a lot of work and effort into a house, and then suddenly you're up in sticks. Even though, let's face it, Birmingham wasn't a million miles away from Forest.
No.
But
No.
Later on, when he played for Detroit Express, I went out to America and went to their apartment and did a similar set of pictures, really.
yeah, I remember seeing those. They were brilliant. Yeah, you were in an airplane, aren't you? Going over, I think, for those, weren't you? I think for those. Yeah, brilliant. Good stuff. The managing director you didn't get into trouble over that then, no?
No,
Plymouth, you get into trouble, but Detroit, it's okay.
Only if someone quotes something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, we've got a Billy's Boot story. I won't go through the whole Billy's Boot story. But this is quite interesting because on this one, what you find is that halfway through the game, Billy's playing, then his shoelaces become untied, and then when he passes the ball, one of his boots fly off, and suddenly a dog grabs the right boot, and then runs off into the undergrowth. Of course, and to turn over the page, of course, what happens is Billy then puts on a normal boot onto his right foot, and obviously he's absolutely useless. And this means that they end up conceding the goal. But what happens here, and you see it down the bottom of this page, is that his left boot, which has got the Deadshot Keen boot on it, his left foot, is actually still powered by Deadshot Keen, because you've got a fault bubble there, and Billy's going, it's the left boot, which used to belong to Deadshot. It's making me tap the ball along. Something's going to happen. And then suddenly the left boot boots the ball out into the undergrowth. The dog, meanwhile, was burying the other boot. He gets startled, and Billy manages to grab hold of the other boot before it's buried, puts it on, and then obviously he kind of get back into the game and scores the second goal, and everybody's happy. And it finishes when he's got his mate in the dressing room and he's going, I'm sure there's something special about those old boots you wear, Billy. You'll have to tell me one day. And he says, you'll never believe it. And then he's thinking, well, I've learned today that 2 Deadshot boots are better than 1.
Brilliant.
Lovely Fred Baker script.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was a basic plot in Billy, but so many variations came from Fred, and beautifully written.
I mean, to do a story like that in just 3 pages, it's brilliant.
Yeah, we've mentioned it. Well, I've mentioned this a couple of times because Barry, on some of the recent pods, Neil's done some stories from the holiday specials, and as Matt said there, I'm absolutely gobsmacked and amazed how much content some of the script writers and the artists can get into just a 3-page story. But what I love there is, I thought the boots were just magical on a football level, but now I'm beginning to wonder almost, did they have eyes they could see where the dog was and making Billy to boot it off in that direction? I mean, there's more questions to be asked about these boots,
Oh, yes, there's a lot to be revealed.
All right, I'm going to flick through now. Just going to Skid Solo. We won't go into Skid Solo, but that is a reprint, actually.
I was just going to say that artwork looked like a reprint, yeah.
Oh,
hello.
And Barry, do you want to talk about this? So the feature here is 10,000 miles to see a cricket match.
Seemed a good idea at the time.
Not to Plymouth. You've managed to wangle a trip to Australia.
Yes, I went to the management and said I wanted to do a cricket magazine. And they said, well, put a dummy together sometime. Then I went back again and said, England are touring Australia at the moment. It would be a good opportunity for me to meet the players and get to know the players. So they weren't sure. So then I got in touch with British Airways and said what I was planning to do. And I said, what about a free seat? They said, yeah, sure. Give
Wow.
us a mention, and
Give us a mention.
that's fine. It wasn't in first class, unfortunately. So
It looks, you look quite comfy. There's pictures of you asleep. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I think that just, I mean, for us, I mean, which we always, we talk about though, I mean, and it's brilliant, Barry, but like you said, going back to the Phil Edmonds thing, I think that's the thing that you had in that at the time, the readership must have been known, the publication sizes must have been known. So like you said, British Airways, as long as you mention us, knowing then that they're going to get mentioned in this publication with, exactly.
Yeah.
Certainly gave amazing.
The Tiger name meant a lot.
Yeah. Open doors.
Yeah.
And cabins.
Yes, in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the photos are brilliant. You've got photos here of some of the players around the pool. You've got Boycott, you've got Gower. How long were you out there for, Barry? Can you remember? Was it good? I think you were out there for a couple. Were you out there for a couple of tests?
I had to get an extension. I stayed longer than I planned to because I'd arranged to meet. Who I'd arranged to meet? I've forgotten his name now. Isn't it awful? Who was the gentleman who started a rival cricket organisation?
Oh, Kerry Packer.
Kerry Packer, yes. Yeah.
I met Tony Gregg out there, and Tony fixed for me to meet Kerry Packer and suggests that maybe my new cricket magazine could somehow be sponsored by his organisation. So I got an extension on my stay without any trouble. I didn't get told off for that. So there's a picture of that with me on the screen now with Tony Gregg.
Yeah.
That's when Tony was very, very keen on Kerry Packer getting involved in this new publication. But when I eventually met Kerry Packer, he said, who is it you work for? I said, IPC magazines. And for some reason, IPC, he'd had a falling out with. And once he heard that, he wouldn't do anything at all with us.
Wow.
Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Well, I know there's one of the pictures there, got some readers down there holding up a copy of Tiger. And I'm thinking about our friend of the show, Ozzy Lee, down in Australia.
Yeah.
And he's saying about, that they would get the comics down there, Royal Rovers and Tiger, but, it'd be like weeks later. So it's great to see kind of, some readers there with a copy of Tiger. The photos are brilliant. You've got a photo there of Brian Johnston as well, with the famous cricket commentator.
Brian Johnston was a great fan of the comics. He came to so many of our events.
I've seen a picture of him at another one of the events with Suzanne Dando and David Skew, isn't it? That's the one you posted, I think, on X not so long ago.
Yes, he again was an absolutely lovely man, and always, if I invited him along, he'd come along to our events, and it was nice. I remember he was at the Speed launch when we launched Speed.
Oh, right.
And various other things. And there on the screen, I could see I'm meeting Bobby Simpson,
yes,
the famous Australian captain. So I was getting to know the Australians as well as the English players. So I was well briefed and well set up to do a cricket magazine. But when I got back, they said, we don't want you to do cricket. We want you to bring out a new football comic, which actually turned out to be Roy of the Rovers.
So that's never going to work, is it? Oh, no, whoops, it did.
Would the cricket magazine have been like fictional stories, like drawn stories, just like Roy of the Rovers was, or was it more features and photographs and interviews?
Yes, it'd be features.
Right.
I thought the existing cricket magazines were slightly boring, slightly very outmarket, and I wanted to do a more basic cricket magazine. We were going to call it "How's That?" And did a dummy for it, but it never saw the light of day.
Right, so we're flicking through the rest. This is where you'd have some kind of funny pictures going on, didn't you? Chosen for different sports. We've got Bobby Charlton there, and then we've got King of the Track. King of the Track was that's another story from Tiger.
Jim Bleach was the artist.
Yeah, Jim Bleach.
Fantastic artist.
He was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yes, he could do anything.
Tough for the track.
And he did the rugby one as well,
one.
didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. It's escaped my mind.
The Tough Game.
The Tough Game. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Dougie Banks and
Rugby league.
Tornado Joe. Did he do Tornado Joe as well? I think
Mm.
that was a similar one, wasn't it? That was Jim Bleach. And we've got Billy Dane's Sports Quiz.
Mhm.
And then we've got some more Speedway.
Kevin Keegan playing tennis then.
Yeah.
Can we get? Yeah, it must have been Superstars, wasn't it?
Yeah, Superstars. Yeah.
Superstars, right? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I noticed when you opened it up, but we moved on in the inside page, there was a picture of the Ollie Olsen, not
Ollie Olsen. Yeah.
On there from Speedway. Yeah.
There he is.
So yeah, massive.
Melchester had an Ollie Olsen, didn't they? Was it Olaf Ollie Olsen?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Then we've got some
yeah.
pictures there of Virginia Wade and John McEnroe.
What became of him?
I don't know. Well, he hadn't won back Wimbledon then, but obviously he'd win in a couple of years' time. And obviously Virginia Wade had won a couple of years earlier. And we have the remainder of Skid Solo, which was say a reprint of the previous. And then we've got Hot Shot Hamish. It's a fantastic.
Yeah.
Another Fred Baker story, obviously. Schiaffino.
Yes, it's good solo as well, of course, was written by
That's
Fred.
God, that's unbelievable. So prolific.
He was prolific, wasn't he, Fred? Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Yes, he used to be an editor on the Girls comics.
Yeah, amazing.
And when I first joined Fleetway, I did a script of the Girls comics and went to see if they'd present it to him. And he told me it read too much like a boys' adventure comic script. So he rejected it. But it was quite amusing that later on our roles were reversed.
Wow, God, that's interesting. Can you remember? I'm asking one of these questions again. Do you remember what comic it was? Barry is editor of? We can find it.
No, sorry.
No, don't worry. No, that's interesting. He's gone from editor to writer. Sorry, Paul, go on.
No, I was just going to say, so Barry, years later, did you ever say, sorry, to, Fred, I'm going to have to say no to this. It's reading too much like a girl's adventure story.
They were too good to reject.
Yeah, no, do you know what? Fair play. You are right there. You are right there, Barry, yes.
Right, okay, so I won't go through the Hot Shot Hamish story. But I think it ends with another Speedway, yeah, Bellevue Aces. She kind of went past, but also I find interesting because I always loved in the comics how kind of you did this thing, like the Susan Dando, like the Tiger and Roy the Rovers being against each other, but there's the advert for the Roy the Rovers holiday special in the back of Tiger as well. That's right. Okay, and so that was the 1979 Tiger holiday special. Now we're moving on to the 1980 Roy the Rovers holiday special. Bygone, can I hand over to you?
Yeah, you sure can. We're picking up on this one because a few podcasts ago I did ask if any listeners did have any of the specials that they wanted me to have a look through and have a read through. And this Roy the Rovers holiday special from 1980 was one of the ones that was suggested several times. Again, the front cover's so so brightly coloured, isn't it? Like the Olympic special, and the fantastic artwork again by David. It looks almost realistic, to be honest, for a picture.
It really jumps out, doesn't it? Yeah,
it really jumps out on there. And again, a fantastic 45p for 64 pages. It's, I think, great value for money when you compare it as well.
That's a particularly good Roy the Rovers by David Skew, I think. Don't tell him I said that.
I love it. I just love it. It's just the action that's just in one picture of Roy. Like the shorts are creased, the shirt's a bit dirty. It looks like he's been playing, and it's really good.
Mud on his socks.
Mud on his socks. It's not the clean cut image you usually see of Roy on the front cover.
He's got the best Melchester strip, of course.
Yeah. We're all wearing it.
Obviously, the one designed by your good self. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I like? The socks.
I love the
With
So,
the tea, yeah.
yeah, the T on the sock, they're not a folded over sock, they're just a one pull-up sock. Yeah, brilliant.
That
Yeah,
was a
so
world exclusive.
but nobody else had a similar design, I don't think, at the time, though. Obviously, you
No,
had
I don't.
Crystal Palace who had something similar with a stripe, I think, across, but not down like that. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'd have bought that kit. Yeah, what I was just looking at though, Barry, at the front, it's got a list of the stories that are on. So it's got the Hard Man, Mighty Mouse, Melchester Rovers, Roy Race, but it's got the Safest Stands in Soccer listed on the front. But it doesn't actually feature in this summer special, the holiday special, Safest Stands in Soccer. And I know it's a long time ago, but was there a reason it didn't feature? Can you remember if a reason it wouldn't have featured in this special? Was it a time constraint or?
That's- This is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, because it's one of my favorite stories. And when I was like looking through, I was like, I can't see the safest stands in soccer. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
that's awful. That's terrible.
so I think,
You can't advertise something on the cover and not put it inside.
yeah. And so the only reason I could think of if it was a time constraint or you were highlighting stories that feature in the weekly. Obviously, it's too late now. I think the deadline's passed for it to be.
Well, all I'm going to say there, and sorry, Barry, I mean, I know we love, we love when you come on, and I hate to give you sort of extra work from our pod, but I really think it's time for another stern letter to Mr. Skew, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
What? Because you left it out.
Well, he either left it out or he shouldn't have put it on the cover. Either way, I leave it open to you on what you want to discipline him over.
Mr. Skew would tell you that he only drew the figure.
Yeah, he would say that.
Yeah.
He would say that. It's true. It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good get out. It's a good get out.
Well, that is awful. Well,
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Well, to be honest, I didn't notice it until a few days ago when Neil mentioned it. So it shows you I don't think anybody else mentioned it. So
Can I just say, I know I've read this several times over the years and did in 1980, and I've never realised until today myself.
and I don't want my money back. You're fine, man. You're fine,
I
Barry.
think we've all
Well,
got our
hold on,
money's worth without.
we'll deduct the 45p out of the
For the
150 for
150.
reading.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I can't recall us getting any letters saying why wasn't it there.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the first time I noticed it myself. Why Gordon's not there, obviously.
Well, you
So-
notice that it is next to Roy's hand.
Yeah, it's
So
hidden slightly.
It was
isn't
probably saying that was the safest hands in soccer.
Oh,
His hand.
I see.
Oh,
Okay.
Barry, now we know why you're the editor. Look at that.
Genius.
Brilliant.
You've spent a lot of time with your legal teams, I can tell by the.
Right, guys, when we go into this courtroom, this is what we're going to say. Yeah.
But yeah, again, it starts off with obviously the list of stories that feature, and this is one of the first things I always used to look at as well to see where your favourite stories are going to feature in the special. Because unlike the comic, I didn't used to read it front to back. I used to save my favourite stories to read them last while I was on holiday.
Right,
and save of that. So I think my favourites off this one I would have been looking to Tommy's Troubles and probably the Hard Man. They were the ones I really enjoyed. So I would just look to save them. But if you just flick on a little bit, the next picture is Les Sealey at Coventry City, and I think a lot of people remember Les Sealey from when he won the European Cup Winners' Cup with Manchester United in the FA Cup in 1990.
Yeah.
Well, United fans do anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I was just going to say that it's really interesting. That's what I love about
Move on.
well,
through these
Luton
old teams.
wasn't all right then. Luton, he did all right with Luton as well. So
Well, that's
but
what I
yeah,
was going to say. I would remember Les Sealey from Luton and Manchester United. So it's great to see. I'd never realised he'd played from Coventry. And that's one of the things I love about when you go through these old comics and magazines, seeing these things. It's brilliant.
yeah. And then there's as always, it starts with a Roy the Rovers story right at the beginning, which for this special it's not been drawn by David Skew. It's another artist.
We couldn't afford David for this.
Well,
Would you-
funny you should say that. He makes it well. Yeah, let's wait until later on in the
Would that have been
special.
because he's probably busy? A lot of time taken up by drawing the weekly story. 'Cause you
Yes,
said- yeah.
yes, difficult to fit in. I think that's Tony Harding.
It's Tony Harding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did quite a few of the specials and the annuals, didn't he, Barry?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Oh, he's a
Tony
fantastic
Harding's
artist, Tony
artwork
Harding.
anyway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have disappointed me seeing Roy's story drawn here as well. But it's quite a good story as well. It's about some sports commentator who obviously took a dislike to Roy, and he's actually saying that Roy's form has suffered and he shouldn't really be playing for Melchester, and that gets Roy's back up, and it disturbs his whole game because the chap's commentating on the game, and Roy's off put by the criticism he's received. And as you can see on there, he falls over his own feet while he's playing. He accidentally handballs the ball because he's not concentrating, and the other team take a lead. And at half time, the commentator's actually again dissing Roy a little bit and saying that Melchester should get rid of him because his form's dropped. And it continues into the second half. He's been off put by this criticism, and Roy did get a lot of criticism, especially off me as well during his appearances. But Roy dealt with it in his own way. He miskicks the ball. The commentator gets his hat stuck over his head and he can't see. And Roy sees the funny side of this and just takes on and then scores a fantastic hat trick in the second half. And again, Roy always has the better of his opponent. And I think it's a nice little neat story for the special.
Yeah, he's as safe as hands in soccer, isn't he?
You know what? Yeah, when he played in goal, he always played well as well. So
he did actually. Yeah, probably as good as Gordon Stewart.
Can I just say there, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, sorry for the listeners, but I'll try and describe it. But as Bygone said there, the ball goes in to the crowd and knocks the commentator's hat. But there's this fantastic panel where Roy is actually bent over, his hands are on his knees, and he's bursting out like you can see he's actually belly laughing. And again, it's just brilliant artwork. It really is.
Yeah.
As I say, I love his artwork because sometimes when you read, all you read is the main character who's talking. But if you look past that and look at the crowd pictures, the artwork that's gone into drawing a stadium and different things like that, it's really, really fantastic. There's nothing comparable today, I don't think. Even with AI, you can't compare that to these fantastic artists.
Right.
And then we've got a couple of lovely colour pictures, and there's Ray Kennedy as well. England, Ray Kennedy played for Liverpool, Arsenal, washing his boots there, which I bet footballers don't do that anymore either. Wash their own boots.
No, exactly.
And then that brings us to the next story, which is Johnny Dexter in The Hard Man, which is not been drawn by Doug. Is it Doug
Maxted? Yeah,
Maxted. This one, I don't know who the artist was here. I
don't. I think it's a South American artist.
Right. Yeah.
It's unusual, isn't it? I don't recognise the style. No, go on.
No, I don't. I don't recognise the style at all. But in this one, it's just Johnny Dexter, who was playing in a friendly match for one of his old teammates. It's like a testimonial game, and he plays against a team of women footballers who feature at the bottom of the panel if you're on YouTube there. And Johnny accidentally walks in on them while they're getting changed. And then he realizes that they're going to have to play against the girls' football team, and he's not happy about that because for him, he can't play his usual game. He says it's not fair. I'm playing against these ladies. And as the game progresses, he realizes he can't be his usual hard man game, so he's a bit off put. And he doesn't like being made a laughing stock of, so he's going to try and show them. But the harder he tries, he ends up scoring an own goal. And then all the ladies start kissing him and hugging him because they saying thank you for scoring a goal for us, which made him even more determined. And then he has the ball robbed off him while he's daydreaming on the pitch, and the ladies' team nearly scores again. He tries to pick his game up. The ball rolls to him. He's going to have to score, and then one of the ladies is begging with him, "Please don't score against us." So that puts Johnny off again, and he loses the ball again. And he realizes the only way you can compete with the ladies is by not competing with them at all. And he pretends he's got an injury, ends up getting stretchered off the pitch. And it just says at the end, he said, "There's no way I can be a hard man against the girls' team." And that's him. He just decided rather than compete with him, he'll quit and get stretchered off the pitch, which I think he was best off because he wasn't having the best game of his career there. But yeah, it's as I say,
who would write a script like that?
I don't know
Yeah.
who. What sort of crazy mind? What sort
The mind boggles.
How pertinent is though now to modern times?
Yeah,
You
I was
know,
thinking that.
we've
Yeah.
just had
I find,
the charity match for on ITV a few months ago where some women did play with the men, and you know, I think the quality is really, really good, and especially as you see, we're watching the Euros now. The quality of football is fantastic. So I think Johnny would have a really hard time playing against these ladies now, regardless. If it's a
We
shame.
were ahead of the time again, you see, Breen.
Yeah,
Mr.
I was going to say, I
Tomlinson,
mean,
great idea. Yeah.
yeah,
Go on,
I
Paul.
mean, what I do enjoy about this, though, and I mean, again, be careful because, some people's opinions, but the kind of strips in the past did show this. But again, it's all about Johnny saying he can't play. But in actual fact, in the artwork and the panels, the female goalkeeper makes a brilliant save,
Mm.
and the play that they do. So the women aren't portrayed as if they can't play. In actual
No.
fact,
No.
they're really good and quality footballers. And
Yeah.
I think that's really good as well, right? And that's for me, it's always stood out for me in those things.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
It's
have.
like it's the people with the problem was Johnny. And I think there was
Yeah,
a similar one.
exactly,
It was in the
exactly. Yeah,
1978 Royal the Rovers annual.
Rovers,
They
yeah,
played the
exactly.
Australian
Yeah,
women's team,
yeah,
and it was the
mm,
Melchester team that were the problem, not
yeah.
the women's
Not
team. Yeah.
no,
So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Brilliant. And then we come to the Roy race talking. And Roy is just looking at the how many clubs in the third and fourth division had actually been featuring in Division One at some point in the past. So you got teams just mentioned Blackburn, Blackpool, Bradford. These are teams who did win FA Cups and leagues 2 or 3 decades before, but now they're featuring in the last division at the time. Yeah. So was this an article you wrote, Barry? You would have wrote the talking.
No, that's probably written by Ray Harrison. He
Right.
he was a sub-editor on Roy the Rovers. I think that's the sort of thing he would have written.
Right.
I think it's really interesting as well, though. Like it mentions Blackburn Rovers, who, as obviously we all know, then later on actually did then come back with the money and win the Premier League. It shows Huddersfield Town there as treble winners, and of course Blackpool, and of course when. At the time of this in 1980, I remember as a young football fan, all these clubs, they've had their day. But that's 3 clubs all in this article that actually later on all managed to get back into the Premier League, albeit maybe for short spells, but did actually get back into the top division. And these are one of the things that we've spoken about. I loved these kind of articles because as a kid, to learn the history of football as well, always meant a lot to me.
Agree.
I mean, there's a lot of the teams who are still struggling because you got this Portsmouth it mentions, and obviously they've yo-yoed a little bit, but unfortunately they're still stuck in League One, I think, at the moment. And then as you come
And in
through
the
towards the
championship
end,
now. Sorry,
the
they're in the
championship.
championship. Yeah.
Okay. At the time of writing, and then and then we've got he says here, Bury became champions of the third division but now they're back on hard times, and obviously
Oh,
Bury are
yeah.
really struggling as
They
well.
are.
They're like Northern
obviously
League.
It's tough. It is tough.
Bury's unfortunately one of the core sad stories in recent years of football, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, I think I did a feature a few podcasts ago when I was doing another special, some of the names and how they was talking about what teams had done really well and then some still struggling, It's hard, isn't it? I mean, only so many teams can win a league, can't they? Or have success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then we've got a few more features here. I've never heard of Kevin Kane from Darlington. I'm sorry. I'll have to Google this chat. And a teenager who must have been given a youth opportunities scheme. He's come
I think this would have followed on. I think from the previous feature on third and fourth division clubs. Probably they thought they'd have a couple of players in.
Yeah,
there's just one thing that I'm noticing about that picture. Actually, I'm a little bit upset. Actually, he seems to be standing too central because I can't help but feel that might be my surname on the billboard behind him there.
Yeah. And then again, always the great action pictures, some action extra pictures. Would this have been would you have been sent these pictures, Barry, to feature and you had to select certain ones? Yeah.
Yes, when the agencies come in each week, I'd go through the photographs and select ones I think might be useful sometime in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that it's got like Stevie Archibald. I remember him, and
Yeah.
he's in a clash there. But it tells you actually what what
Yeah.
game it's in. Semi-final action and different things like that.
And you're always
Um,
very careful to have quite a sprinkling of like Scottish football as well,
yeah,
weren't you? So you're appealing to English and Scottish fans, weren't you,
That's
Barry?
him.
Yes, yes. It's surprising the number of communications I get from people in Scotland
Hmm.
and in Ireland as well. So obviously we kept everybody happy.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
And I
Wales.
mean, at the
Sorry, for our
time as
Welsh
well,
fans. That's what I
Sorry,
just said.
didn't mention Wales, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
It's just
But at the time, Scottish football was coming into a dominance, wasn't it? Because it was
well,
early
yeah.
80s. You had
We had
Aberdeen,
some great teams in
some great,
Scotland at that time.
Dundee
yeah,
United. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Dundee European Cup finals as well.
Mm.
Yeah. And then the next story is a written story about a Roy the Rover story, which is drawn by David Skew for a couple of the panels. And this story is just about Paco Diaz. He has a loss of form, and the players are unhappy with him. And then Paco Diaz goes missing for a short time, and he went back home to Spain. But then he comes back into the team, and his form has returned. And again, it's a nice little story. Again, when I was young, worded stories, Barry, I wasn't that interested in them. It's only as I've got older that I've started to read them again and realize how fun they were. Um, how did you decide that you were going to have a worded story in like in the specials? Was it?
It was cheaper.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
yeah.
um, yeah, written stories were cheaper to produce.
Right.
But also there's a change from having a picture story.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's nice to break it up, I guess, isn't it?
And Paco, what's he doing now? Is he? He could be coaching the Spanish women's team, couldn't
Yeah,
he?
Oh
exactly.
God, yeah, he could be on the bench tonight, couldn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Things like
might be
that.
their secret weapon behind the scenes in the coaching backroom stuff.
Yeah, I often think of that. Wonder what they would have been doing, later on. Paco Diaz, when he went back. Probably one of them players are like 38, still featuring for Spain, one of Euros or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an Adel Miller.
I hate to say it, bygone, but a little bit older than 38. But anyway.
They're always
You
in their 30s. You know that. Football
Yeah,
players always
sorry.
stay in
Yeah,
their
it was
30s.
30s,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
you just showed a page of famous football funnies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
gonna
was
comment on.
great fun to do because again I wanted to use the top names, and Larry was one of the top names at the time.
But
He's
drawing,
still well respected.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Larry,
Right.
was he working on other comics then, Larry? I can't remember.
No, he wasn't a
Would have been-
comics artist.
would have-
He was a cartoonist
Oh, he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
cartoonist. Sorry, right. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
in national newspapers and so
Oh,
on.
I see. Right. Oh, okay. So make sure secure him. Wow.
Did
And,
he not? Did I'm sure they may have done a compilation of some of his work. I've seen it
Terence Parks, known professionally as Larry. Yeah.
as
Oh,
Amazon.
right.
On Amazon. I'm sure I've seen it popped up sometime.
Punch and Private Eye.
Oh,
Wow,
yes.
we really are dealing with royalty here.
yes, it was quite a scoop to get him to do that.
Yeah, I've just gone onto Amazon just now, and other popular bookshops, and he has done an autobiography. There's an autobiography of him as well. I'll
Oh,
have to
okay.
have to buy that.
So just
Yeah.
quickly as well, he also did the cartoon sketches that were used on Carry On films, Carry On Doctor, Carry On Up the
Oh, yeah.
Khyber, Carry On Campion, and Carry On Girls.
Ah, God, yeah, you was dealing with that work royalty there. Yeah, I always like
Brilliant.
the football funnies as well because I like looking at the names of where people have come from who've actually sent the joke in.
Yes, I mean, some of the jokes we featured in the weekly comic, you wouldn't feature these days.
No, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got a Mighty Mouse story about obviously one of my again favorite characters with him and Hotshot Hamish when they merged. But on this one, Mighty Mouse plays for Tottenford, and he goes abroad to I think he goes to Torremolinos.
Yeah, I can't see Paco Diaz in that one, but
Yeah, no, yeah, that's why Paco Diaz probably went missing. He was probably hosting Mighty Mouse. But yeah, it's his first ever holiday abroad, and he's obviously not used to foreign climes, how warm the weather is, the fact that people drive on the opposite road. And then he goes for a swim, empties a pool when he dives in, and
That's a classic. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
classic. Yeah, yeah. The
yeah.
artwork. Yeah.
They're not happy, but then he finds out that he gets invited to play in for the holidaymakers team because there's always a match, isn't there? Holidaymakers versus the waiters, and he gets to play in that, and he starts as a sub. But you find out that the waiters actually played Southampton the year before, and they beat them. And at halftime, the holidaymakers are 2-0 down. So the secret weapon, Hotshot, God, Mighty Mouse comes on and actually shows them how to play football because they think he's a fat player, he's fat, he's too big to play football, but he actually turns them over and they can see he's quite a fast runner and quite acrobatic actually for his size. Scores an hat trick and then proves that he is a great footballer. And he says, "Now do you believe me? I'm a footballer. You should take it up sometime." To the people who've been dissing him. So
Another Fred Baker classic.
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say that, and Schiaffino is as well the artist, I think, as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's-
Brilliant story. Yeah, and he was really fast, wasn't he? That's what I mean. I kind of think Mighty Mouse. He just burst down that wing.
Do
Speed,
you know though, for an artist, for the Schiaffino, I know we say he's Argentinian, and he must have been based in Argentina because I think you've said before how his stories were sent backward and forward. He may never have visited England or Scotland, and I thought the background image, the artist was fantastic at picking the localities up. He may never have gone to Spain, but he's picked up in the drawings. It feels like Mighty Mouse is actually in Spain on his holidays.
He was very good at getting all the background details in of the Scottish environment.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this artwork. I'm not 100% sure it is.
Yeah, I must admit,
really?
I'm not sure myself actually.
well, is it a very good likeness then? A different. Yeah, but
Difficult
the other
to
thing
tell.
is it's not signed anywhere either. I can't see his signature, so he used
Yeah,
to
and
put it in.
Schiaffino used to always get his name in, didn't he?
Well, did he?
So
I don't know if he always did. Did he? He might have done.
well, if it's
We'll
not,
study
then
that.
Barry,
We'll
it's
study
very
that
good
later.
likeness.
You're right. It does look slightly different.
Yeah, the second picture doesn't look like that. That one doesn't look on picture 2.
No,
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not.
the ball.
Now you're saying it, yeah.
Oh well.
And Mighty Mouse is actually in one of the panels. Go further on, he's reading the Roy the Rovers annual from, I think, 1979 on his holidays.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he was. Sorry. Yeah, in that one.
Yeah,
that one there. Yeah, in the middle.
I don't
And the
like
kids.
Yeah,
And a little boy's got a Roy the Rovers t-shirt.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, brilliant, that, isn't it? He must have won a competition.
It's a 1980 annual. You can tell actually as well. You can just kind of make
Is
out
it? Yeah, 70,
the
80.
detail.
Yeah.
Won the FA
And then
Cup.
we've got the sign please in the middle, which is a lovely colour spread of Kevin Reeves.
Yeah, I remember Kevin Reeves.
I don't know Kevin Reeves.
Yeah, I remember
him.
Yeah,
Kevin Reeves, Manchester City, great player.
Yeah, and then as we go through again, there's a quiz, which is another quiz as we go through there. I wouldn't have got none of them answers as we'd have gone through. Some massive action pictures, and then as we come to page 43, another famous football funnies, and these are taken from issue 4 of Roy the Rovers, so they would have been.
And this is not Larry this time. I can't quite read that.
Brian Redding.
Redding.
Yeah, another big name in the cartoon world.
Wow.
That's fun. I mean, did you approach them and ask them if they'd like to draw these funnies?
There was one particular agency,
Right.
King Leo agency, which dealt with cartoons. And I was a member of the Cartoonist Club of Great Britain. So I got to know all the cartoonists and going to their meetings there.
Right.
And we used to get a free holiday at Butlins Holiday Camp.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
it's not just Australia, is it?
So I got to know a lot of the cartoonists that way.
I bet you were never at home, Plymouth.
They used to meet at the Pescara Club in Beach Street.
Right. Okay, wow. Okay, cool.
Ian Scott run the King Leo agency, which dealt with cartoonists.
Yeah.
And
so would the jokes have been received by the readers, and then you would have sent them to the artists, and then they draw the sketch?
Yeah. Ian Scott, another lovely man. He bought me a present every Christmas. but I think he tended to forget what he'd bought me the previous Christmas because
Safe stocks.
he always bought me a canteen of cutlery.
Oh wow.
Brilliant.
And at one time I had so much cutlery, I didn't know what to do with it.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
And then as I turn the page over, just the one before, they're going again. It's the advertising for brilliant free advertising for IPC Comics. So we've got on there, obviously, you've Tiger and Scorcher, 2008 AD. Matt, if you pull the page back,
Sorry, yeah.
and again, hold on. So it's
Yeah.
got Tiger and Scorcher, it's got Battle, Speed, obviously Roy the Rovers in 2000 AD. But again, and actually telling you what them. So again, if anybody's actually never heard of, Roy the Rovers, pick this up off the newsagents because it's a nice, colourful picture. You'd again introduce that there is other comics available on there.
Yeah.
I think those were all in my group at the time.
Yeah, I was
well,
just
in the
going to
youth
ask you,
group.
so obviously, Battle as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Such a shame they've all gone in. It's just obviously I was too young at the time for this because I was only 4. But if it was like now, I'd be buying all these. And then obviously the next feature is just 10 pages regarding from teams from 1968 who they said that these featured in Tiger, so I think they were in a weekly format. And I know they've been reprinted in several annuals as well since. Who was the artist for these? I know you've done a feature on a map before.
I think it was Robert Bond, was it? Bob Bond.
Yes.
I think that was the guy.
Yeah, we used him a lot. A very, very good artist.
I like the way he gets
superb.
likenesses. They're fantastic.
I could look at these all day long. Yeah, they're brilliant. So I was just fast forwarding it because there's somebody I recognise on one of these pages.
I was just going to come to that now. And then as we go through them teams, which are great because it features it used to be Manchester United, Celtic, Liverpool, but you've got your Coventry, Queen's Park Rangers, so they try to cater for other teams as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then as we're coming towards the back end of the special at the moment, we've got a fantastic feature here, and it says Roy Race starts here. And it's scriptwriter Tom Tuller is the man behind the Roy the Rovers story, but it's artist David Skew, friend of the show, who puts Tom's ideas on paper. David works from his home in Poole, Dorset to draw and colour pages of artwork, which takes 4 full days. So it actually got pictures for the people who can't see it on the screen of David at his desk actually drawing the panels for a Roy Race story. And it actually explains at the bottom here. Is it okay if I just read the bottom? It says that Monday is taken up with sketching the first page, and the second page is drawn by Tuesday. On Wednesday comes the inking in stage, and David uses a brush and Indian ink. Thursday finds him applying the colour. He starts by colouring the large areas, finishing the sky, the stands, and the crowd first. Then he concentrates on the players. Both pages are completed by Thursday night, and regular readers know what the finished job looks like. If you don't, buy a copy of the Rovers straight away.
If you look very carefully at those photographs, there's a book there, and it's entitled 101 Reasons for Being Late Delivering My Artwork.
I knew that was coming. I knew something would be coming.
Brilliant.
Only 101. Is that just the first volume?
I was going to say, there is a volume 2.
That's the first page.
I love,
in the day though now where we have AI which controls everything. This is, probably going through one of the last periods where somebody would actually start from the beginning till the end and everything's done by hand.
No,
it's a good idea, Barry, putting that in the special. It's a good idea, kind of a window into how the comics produced.
It's fantastic.
Safest hands as soccer in every case.
That's what he's showing there. He's got the safest hands there, drawing these
I
in
see,
the line.
right.
And he's colouring them in the line as well. So they are safe hands. Yeah. That's it, isn't it? That's the Easter egg. The safe hands is actually all the way through this comic. And that's the end one. That's the last picture. So the last story to feature is Tommy's Troubles, which is a story that I really enjoyed as well. I enjoyed Tommy running his own little football team without adults. And this is a story, and it is a holiday special story because it's about Tommy's team who are playing against a rival team called Grafton Terrace, and it's quite a hard game. There's a bit of a needle in the match. The teams don't like each other, so Tommy decides to send his team away, and they go to the seaside for a few days in a place called Shoreham. And while they're there, the rival team have also decided to visit Shoreham that day, and they have a match on the beach where again it's a bit of a needle match, and it ends 1-1. Um, and then they realise that the sea's come in and the tide has cut them off in the beach and they're stranded. There's a steep rock face and they can't get off the beach. So Tommy takes a big kick. He kicks the football over the cliff edge, and they get found. They get rescued, and then the teams actually make friends at the end as well, and realise that it's best being
Ah,
friends than enemies, which is great.
ah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Yet another Fred Baker script.
I was just going to say another
Yeah.
Fred Baker script, and
But
the artist is fantastic. Do you remember who the artist was for?
Yeah, Bucero,
yeah, Ramon Bujero,
so,
wasn't it? Yeah, Bujero.
South American.
Yeah.
Yeah, another. Yeah, as I say, I love the artwork for Tommy's Troubles.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then we finish off by Manchester City versus Leeds United tussle there, and it says it's Kevin Hurd, Terry Connor, and Willie Donegan.
Oh yeah. Well done. Okay.
Big photo across 2 pages.
Yeah.
I
could have
found
been
the readers like big photographs.
Mm.
Very few publications would do them as big as that.
Yeah, it's a lot of there's a lot, if you try to squeeze that in, it might not have got the same impact if you try to squeeze it on
No,
one
that's
page
right.
as well.
Mm.
Even though it's in black and white, it's still a cracking picture, isn't it? You know, it's brilliant. And then that's the end. Lovely full cover again at the end there, full color cover. I really, as I say, for 45p for 65 pages, it's not even a penny a page, is it? And
It's brilliant.
that would have done me for my 2-week holiday, I think. Yeah. So how long would that have took to plan for just a holiday special or a summer special? If they was coming out in say May, when would you have started planning the
Probably 2.5 months before
right,
that.
right, with a
Um,
rough outline of which, because obviously it must be hard because some stories may have got cancelled then by the time it goes to print and different things.
yes, I'd rough it out what was going to put on each page and then contact the script writers, talk over the script idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Great stuff.
Mm.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Neil, for taking us through that, and thanks, Barry, for your insights there. We're coming to the end of the show now, so thank you, Barry. But we'll go around and get the final thoughts from Paul and Neil first, and then Barry will come to you. So, Paul, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I mean, I must admit. I mean, it's always great when Barry comes and joins us on the show. We love every minute of it. But it's great to talk through these holiday specials. And for me, I really enjoyed that actually because I was only made aware of the Olympic special, and yeah, to see that fantastic content and to get the insights from Barry, and yeah, just confirming what we already knew. God, back in the day, you couldn't walk through any sporting venue without some top-notch star wanting to speak to him and organise a publication of something. It's just brilliant to hear. So yeah, loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.
And Neil?
No, again, I've enjoyed. I've never seen the Olympic special, so I've really enjoyed looking through that. I don't own a copy of the Tiger Holiday Special from 1979, so I've enjoyed looking through that as well. I'm going to see if I can purchase that. But again, yeah, it's been great listening to Jet Set Barry, all the exotic places he's been for free as well. Yeah, it's been fantastic listening to the stories. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
And Barry, what's it been like flicking through some of those specials, bringing back some memories?
It's wonderful having those memories come back, and it's wonderful that people still remember what we published. And as I said, when I put on X that we were going to talk about holiday specials, the reaction was marvelous. That people said it meant so much to them, part of the summer holidays. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Excellent. Well, we've enjoyed it too, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers will enjoy it as well. So once again, Barry, I'm sure you'll be on again, Barry, in the future show. But thank you so much for coming on, and yeah, that's the show, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back very soon. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
He always gets his little wave in at the end, doesn't he?